And I guess we are heading into the game right away. Map number 1.
Let's not waste any more time. The first map is going to be Metropolis. These two players looking so strong. IdrA showing great play against his other Terran opponent. How will he play against MMA? Will it be the same style? And how will MMA deal with that same style if it is? I cannot wait to see here at the IPL4 Pool D.
And the game started, and right now to the top of the map in the red color, we have IdrA.
A huge fan favorite. It's been around forever.
An incredible player and in really good shape right now. He was not enough to take down Bomber, but he was so close. And I really hope that he is just able to get those last few games just past him and focus now on the matches against his opponent in this game. At the bottom of the map, we have in the blue color another Terran player from Korea. This is Slayers MMA.
And this should be quite the game. I'm not even as curious whether or not IdrA is going to use the same style as how MMA will respond to it. Will he respond the same way that Bomber did? Will, in the late game, MMA use the same drop tactics? Will he do a better job at doing the drops than Bomber did? Will he be more aggressive? Will he even open with something crazy like a 2-racks? There's all sorts of different options for MMA here. I don't think we're going to see a 2-racks on this map, but anything is possible, and I want to see how these two players builds vary. This is kind of one of the best things about pool play, in my opinion, is you get to see two different players play the same matchup and see how the styles differ, how IdrA's style differs with a different player, and how MMA's style differs from a different player of the same race. It's just so awesome to see.
Yeah, you're perfectly right. So it's going to be really incredible to see if IdrA is also just switching up his style once again. We have him with the hatch first once more, and he's squeezing in a few drones, which is exactly what he did in the games against Bomber. And with MMA, the one thing that really amazed me when I first came to Korea was realizing that MMA has had his own personal coach that was actually analyzing his opponents and just tailored perfect builds in order to take them down. So that was really interesting to see that they sat together in front of every single match and just talked about what exactly should probably work against an opponent, where his weaknesses are, and it was just really, really incredible. It's apparently something that originally came, or that Slayers Boxer introduced.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This drone does come in here and scouts the gas timings as well as the command center. Really nice drone by IdrA.
And MMA just makes sure that his gas is not taken. He's taking both gases right now. It's going to be interesting to see if he's actually mining from both of them.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see exactly how he wants to go about things. IdrA transferring his drones now. He's mining his gas as well. Now, the double gas means that we'll likely see, as MMA is Korean, a very quick reactor Hellion follow-up, because that is what all Koreans are doing right now, and with the double gas, he'll be able to get that reactor out very soon. And he's actually going to go ahead and make a second Marine first, but I expect that he'll start his factory very, very soon here. His command center is finishing up now. IdrA double queening at the moment as his spawning pool is done.
The thing about this map is that we sometimes see like really, really epic matches and long games. This is one of the things that we've seen between Morrow and Lenok, and D-Muslim was able to win against Zenio earlier in the I think it was actually the second round of the loser bracket in the bracket, and he said that one of these games was on Metropolis as well, and it took like 40 minutes, and it must have been really great. And this is exactly the style of games that we want to see on Metropolis.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, something to note right now is, you guys will see on the production tab in a second, is IdrA has made a Roach Horn. This is very un-IdrA-like in some ways, in that he normally is not the type to put pressure on. This may just be a defensive measure, but I could see him attacking here. He's actually saving up a little bit of larva, 5 larva right now being unused.
It's not going to be some kind of roach baneling attack, because on this map you can't pull it off. The distance is just too huge. But roaches are definitely something that you can use in order to put some pressure onto your opponent, especially when you expect him to go for kind of a greedy build. And we have the starport now for MMA, who at this point is going for the expansion, but does not have a lot to deal with roaches. So IdrA might just try to go in there with a few roaches, follow it up with speedlings, and there they are. 6 roaches building. Speed is lined up. And this could actually do a ton of damage to MMA. He doesn't have anything.
This almost certainly will. Something else to note is that there's a starport finishing up here for MMA. He's actually switching it now with a tech lab to produce Banshees. Now these Banshees will really help him defend against this attack and potentially could be great at counterattacking as well. These Hellions for MMA actually miss the Roaches. So in one way it's good for MMA, but in the other way he does not scout the Roaches, which he really needs to find out about soon so he can make additional bunkers.
He didn't even see the second Roach that came out. There was another Roach that was just able to get out of the main base, and he moved back with his Hellion to the right side. He didn't see them. Now he knows what's happening and loses one, well, nearly loses one of his Hellions, and he needs to repair right now. I would not surprise to see a couple of Marauders being built immediately, and here we go. The bunker is the only thing that stands between IdrA and MMA's units, and he's taking out the bunker, trying to get into the main base, takes down the first few SCVs. There's another bunker on the high ground though, but the expansion at least has to live. And will IdrA try to commit?
It's hard to say. The Banshee being out is going to make it very difficult for him to do so. Cloak is almost done, by the way. 2 Evolution Chambers are being added, though, and an additional Queen.
And he does not repair.
I really like MMA's decision to get the second bunker very early on, and then he didn't even try to hold the first one. He just knew that the second one would be the crucial one. He pulled his Marines back there. It's a mistake a lot of players make trying to hold that first bunker. And the Roach is still doing a little bit more damage here, but they are finally cleaned up by this Banshee. The Banshee, of course, is known about. IdrA has not made any Spore Crawlers just yet, though. Just now starting one, as you can see on the production tab.
He built the Evolution Chamber as soon as he realized that his opponent is going for a Banshee play. But actually, this attack was really well done by IdrA. The thing is, he didn't kill too many SCVs. He only took down 5 of them. But he's now on 3 bases. He has the upgrades that he needs. He has the Spore Crawlers in order to be in a position where he can defend against the Banshee play without losing too much. And I have to say that MMA, he lost a lot of mining time here. He lost the supply depots, so his timings are completely off at this point. And IdrA is in a very good position to get a decent lead in this game.
His Spore Crawler positioning is very good as well here. Now we'll see exactly how much damage these Banshees can do. They cloak, and he's actually found the sweet spot in between these Spore Crawlers where no one can see him by the looks of things. And he's going to just continue to damage and attack whatever he can. With 2 Banshees, he can 2-shot basically any drone by just right-clicking on it. Simply it'll die. The Spore Crawler has been repositioned here. He's actually not moving. Now he moves just at the last second. Looks like he's going to go for the spawning pool. At least he was initially here, but now he's running out of cloak energy on 1 Banshee. He's got to retreat.
I have to say this was a beautiful position. I didn't even see that he had a chance of just hiding between the 2 Spore Crawlers. Very well done by MMA, and this just shows once again that he's such a great player. He went in there, he saw the Spore Crawlers, and he realized, okay, there's a gap in between the 2 Spore Crawlers. I can't just try to sneak in there with the Banshees, and he's trying to exploit his huge lead in tech. That's the one thing that he gets really going for him, and he is just pressuring the 3rd base right now. I'm fully aware of the fact that there is still the rocks between the 2 bases, so IdrA can't use all his queens in order to defend against it. He has to solely rely on his Spore Crawlers at the 3rd, and
he's targeting down that 3rd hatchery, and since so many of IdrA's queens are out of position with no rocks, he may be able to get at the spores are being repositioned, but he can actually just go around the bottom now if he wants. Looks like he's going to go around the top before he goes to the bottom, though, which looks like it will give his opponent just enough time to reposition that spore and save the hatcheries. Now going for drones. He's finding all the weaknesses here. Great Banshee control by MMA so far.
Yeah, he's doing really well here. He's doing a lot better than I actually expected. He didn't kill too many workers. We have a worker kill count of 6-6 at this point. And, well, IdrA already on Lair now. He's going for the infestation pit. It's nearly completed. But these 3 Banshees are doing a ton of damage. And finally, IdrA in a good position here. He needs a transfuse, and there it is. Nice. Last second transfuse, and now the Overseer is there in order to detect all these cloaked Banshees. Good job, so IdrA is kind of safe now.
The supply is fairly even here, 97 to 93 in IdrA's favor. IdrA has a lot of resources banked up right now. He just spent several of them getting the 2-2 upgrades. His burrow is almost done. His pathogen glands are on the way. And it looks like our Terran player, MMA, wants to move out now. He's going to deal with this little Zergling run by. He has a very strong, beefy force he's moving out with right now. The army supply is 52 for MMA to 28 for IdrA. He's trying to pump out as many Zerglings as he can. He's teched a lot here. He has very few units, 18 Zerglings on the way, but I'm not sure if they're going to be enough, Kaldor.
I think he will be able to hold this, to be honest, but still, MMA is going for this attack, and he could potentially do a lot of damage, but so far, IdrA played really well when he came down to the defense, and he's moving in right now, trying to surround not only the Marines, but taking down the Hellions as well, doing a really, really good job here, but losing a ton of Zerglings. MMA still able to push a little bit further, but the first few infestors are gonna pop out very, very soon, and that will help IdrA quite a bit.
Yeah, it really will. The Queens trying to escape here. The Zerglings coming out one by one. They're dying very quickly. The Hellions doing a lot of extra damage. It looks like IdrA just barely, constantly does not have enough. He just needs a few more units at one time. The medevac actually is going to go down to a Spore Crawler here if MMA does not move it. He moves it there at the last second. The Infestors are out. He hits a fungal, but it's not the best one, having to use 2 there. More Marines are coming in. They're very well split, and things are looking worse and worse for IdrA by the second.
He's losing too many Queens here, lost a few of these infestors as well. This is looking really, really bad for IdrA here. He should have used his drones as well in order to take down these Marines. If he would have combined an attack with drones, with his infestors, with a few Zerglings, and also the Queens, then I think he should have been able to take down these Marines. But now the expansion is gone. He didn't even use the energy on the Queen in order to transfuse his hatchery.
Yeah, and, you know, he consistently just had maybe 6 to 15 Zerglings too few to defend that drop, or actually not a drop, but of course just like a run by at that third base. And with the Marine count there, he just barely did not have enough. You could see in that IdrA's build was just so tight. He almost had enough. He teched up using +2/2, using the passive against getting the infestors out, but they were all just a few seconds too late, and that shows, again, MMA's knowledge of timings of when to attack are actually really good. You know, IdrA lived with MMA for quite a long period of time, so that's something that, if obviously he knows IdrA very well, he knows his style well, and he knows these timings. Now, IdrA is going to move out. He's trying to set up a flank with these Zerglings, but MMA has so many units out on the map.
I really think that he could have defended the last attack a little bit better. Although the transfuse, that was really something that I missed. He had a Queen with full energy and didn't use transfuse in order to just increase the hit points on the hatchery a little bit, to make MMA just linger around a little bit longer, which would have given IdrA the chance to get more infestors out, more Zerglings, all these units that he now has. But now it's going to be really difficult for him to stop the army of MMA, because we have the siege tank combination, we have all these, we have a couple of medivacs now, and even drops in the main base. MMA is playing really well right now, and this is going to be very hard for IdrA.
He's forced 3 spines in the main. He forced a cancel on the base at the right side. He is looking so strong. He has this extremely tough army parked right outside of IdrA's third that he's remaking right now. I'm surprised he's not using it while he's distracting the majority of these Zerglings with the drop. Now he's decided to move. He's unsieged here. The army supply for MMA almost doubling that of IdrA, 113 to 68. The Roach Warren is going to go down here. He's even dropping a siege tank in the main. IdrA may be able to clean up this force in the main, but will he be able to deal with the force at his third base that's occurring at the same time?
There are just drops everywhere. Attacks by MMA at the third, at the main base, and also at the natural. So this is really tough for IdrA to hold. He has to split his army, but this is just so hard to do right now. All these infestors don't really get a shot at the Marines. He needs to get some decent funds, loses another base. This is just
oh no, the siege tank's hitting so many infestors! IdrA losing all of his infestors going down. He's losing so many. He does get some fungals off as a result, but even so, it's not enough. GG! MMA takes game 1 in spectacular fashion.
MMA just shows once again how good he really is. He might be the best Terran player right now. It is just incredible to see how well he plays, especially his drop play. It's just amazing.